Okay, for those of you who have just come to Berkeley for the first time, welcome to Berkeley. For those of you who are sophomores or more, welcome back. In any event, welcome to Psychology 1, General Psychology, the introduction to the field of psychology. My name is John Killstrom. I'm a professor in the Department of Psychology, and I'll be your chief content provider for the course this semester. Here is the contact information that's important. It's also on your syllabus. If you are just coming in, pick up a syllabus in the back of the room. I think there's some still left. The blue sheets we ran out of. We'll have more on Wednesday, and they're online. More on that in a minute. Okay, this course consists of lectures and discussion sections. The lectures will meet for 2 hours a week, Monday and Wednesday at 10:10. We'll start promptly at 10:10, and I go by that clock, not by that clock, which is always a little off. That's the official clock. And we'll go straight through until 11 o'clock every day, including today. I have some things to talk about. For those of you who are interested in them, there are Black Lightning lecture notes available for this course. I'll talk more about that in a minute. But the lectures are Monday and Wednesday, and then you have a 1-hour discussion section led by a graduate student instructor that meets once a week. These discussion sections do not meet this week. It's hard enough for you to get your schedules organized and have to deal with discussion sections. But they will begin next week. Bearing in mind that next Monday is Labor Day, there won't be discussion sections on Labor Day, but on Tuesday, the 4th, discussion sections will begin. So we've got lectures, we've got the discussion, we've got some examinations, we've got a couple of other things to talk about. First, let's talk about the discussion sections, which, as I said before, are going to be led by graduate student instructors. These are graduate students who are serving as teaching assistants in the course. These discussion sections will vary in format, but a typical discussion section will begin with some kind of presentation by the graduate student on some topic that's relevant to what we're doing in class, followed by a period for question discussions and all of that kind of stuff. Remember, no discussion sections this week. Discussion sections start next week. Let me introduce to you the GSIs, the graduate student instructors that are affiliated with this course. First, Mario Echeves. Stand up, Mario. Mario Echeves, he's in developmental psychology. Melissa Adams-Hunt is in cognitive neuroscience. Sarita Alexander in educational psychology. Erin Gibson in cognitive psychology. Kate Kaplan in clinical psychology. Andres Martinez in social personality psychology. Alexander O'Connor, cognitive psychology, Sherilyn Tan in developmental psychology, and Lindsay Shaw Taylor in social psychology. So that's the group. You'll get to meet them next week. On the course website, about which I'll have more to say in a minute, we'll get the teaching assistants, the GSIs associated with the various sections, so you'll know who to contact. Okay. If you're waitlisted for this course, the chances are pretty good that you're going to be able to get in. We have some slots left, but admission to the course is through discussion sections. There has to be a vacant seat in the discussion section for which you're waitlisted in order for you to move into the course, okay? That usually happens. We added 3 new sections of the course just last week. Those are pretty vacant. If you can move into sections 125, 126, or 127, which meet Monday or Tuesday, your chances of getting into the class are very, very, very high. Priorities given to freshmen and sophomores. The reason for that is this course is a prerequisite for the psychology major. By the time you finished your sophomore year, you've already declared a major in something, so you don't need this particular version of Psych 1 so much. But we'll move people automatically off the wait list into the course as seats open up in accordance with their ranking on the wait list for discussion section. What matters is where you're waitlisted for the discussion section, not for the course as a whole, with priority given to freshmen and sophomores. So what you should do beginning next week is attend the discussion section for which you're waitlisted, okay? If you don't attend the discussion section for which you're waitlisted, there is some risk that we will think you're just not interested in the course and we'll drop you to make room for somebody who is. So beginning next week, go to the discussion section that you're enrolled in or you're waitlisted for. We'll see what we can do for you. If for some reason you can't attend discussion section next week, get in contact with your GSI. We'll post those names to the website probably later today. Okay? So that should be fairly clear. I mentioned before there is a note-taking service here at the UC Berkeley. Black Lightning lecture notes. This is the only authorized note-taking service on campus. This course, being one of the larger courses on campus, has a Black Lightning note taker. These notes are not a substitute for your own notes. Educationally speaking, in terms of how people learn, there is absolutely no substitute for having your own notes to put your own spin, your own organization on things. However, if you have to miss a lecture or you want another perspective on what went on in lecture, the Black Lightning lecture notes can be very valuable. I think they cost $39 for the semester, which is a pretty good deal, and you can get more information about this at that URL, blln@securesites.com. Okay, what about examinations? We've got 3 exams in this course, 2 midterms and a final. The 2 midterms are going to be administered in class. There's one in early October, there's one in mid-November, and then there's a final examination. The midterm exams are non-cumulative exams. First midterm covers everything beginning today, going right up to the first midterm. Second midterm covers everything since the first midterm, right up to the second midterm. And then the final exam will have a non-cumulative portion that covers everything since the second midterm, and then a cumulative portion that covers the entire class. Educationally, one test is not a good idea. We want to give you a chance to go back over the entire material. If you take a test on something a second time, it turns out that you learn things better. The final exam is scheduled for December 13th, 8 to 11 o'clock in the morning. We don't know where yet, but it'll probably be some gymnasium. All the exams in this course are multiple choice computer scored exams. That's to make sure that the scores, that the exams are scored reliably and fairly for everyone. Despite being multiple choice computer scored, they emphasize basic concepts and principles. They don't ask you for nitty-gritty about names and dates. We're not particularly interested in that. And the exams cover the readings and the lectures with roughly equal emphasis. I cannot, in the short time that's available to you, to me, basically 30 lectures, cover all the material that's in the textbook. Your textbook is the best introductory psychology textbook written in over 100 years. It does a wonderful job of covering the territory, and we will hold you responsible for the material that's in that class, in that book as well. One important policy: there are no makeup exams in this course. Okay, so we expect you to take the exams when they're being administered. Okay, if there's some kind of family emergency, you're kind of stuck in Maui or something at your grandmother's funeral, we'll deal with that. But outside of that, we expect you to be here for the exams. There aren't any makeups. What else do we want to do? Oh, another component of the course is what's known as the Research Participation Program. We're going to talk a little bit more about this on Wednesday, but for now, by virtue of department policy, the introductory and mid-level survey courses in the psychology department all have associated with them a research participation requirement. And the reason for that is pretty simple. Psychology is a science. It's a laboratory science. If you were taking a course in physics or chemistry or biology, there would be a laboratory section attached to that course that would give you a chance to roll balls down an incline, blow something up by mixing chemicals, dissect a salamander or something like that. We can't do that here. We can't give you your own little pigeon or white rat to play with. We can't have you running around administering questionnaires to all your dorm mates. So the research participation program is designed to allow you to see how psychological science is done, how data is collected, how experiments are conducted, and all of that at the same time by participating in ongoing research projects that are being conducted by faculty and graduate students in the department. In this course, the requirement is 5 hours of research participation spread out over the course of the semester. It's not a very onerous requirement. Most of the experiments that are part of the research participation program are pretty interesting kinds of things to do. Some of them are as straightforward as completing some survey questionnaires. Others involve you, get you involved in doing actual experiments with computers and other kinds of machines in the laboratory. And the way you do this is by signing up, and you get your credits through the Research Participation Program website. The URL for that is on your syllabus. There's also a link to it from the course website. But it looks like that. You go to this URL right up here, psychology.berkeley/RPP, and you'll see a number of links. And over here are another number of other links that allow you to establish an account, basically to sign in for the RPP program, and also to sign up for various kinds of experiments. We're going to talk about that more on Wednesday. There'll be a representative of the Research Participation Program here to talk to you at that time. But all the information that you need about RPP are on those blue sheets that many of you were able to pick up. We'll have more blue sheets on Wednesday for those of you who didn't get one today. There's also a link to the blue sheet off the RPP website. So there's plenty of opportunity for you to get information about these kinds of things. Okay, the textbook for the